Hey everyone, it's Shay Seeking. I'd like to welcome you back to my channel, and then give and today we're gonna go ahead and do another somewhat episode or part to the freestyle version of This Is Not Your Mama's Bible Study. Okay, where we taking a alternative approach, usually for people that are already in a certain state of mind. Those people are going to know who they are when they hear that. So it doesn't seem like I'm discrediting anyone else or being mean to anyone else. So those people are usually already in that state of mind, or something that is being said or dropped will open up the doors for them to use their own way of thinking, not mine. So I'm not trying to indoctrinate you into a religion. I'm not a part of any type of religion. I don't attend any church, and I've never felt comfortable within a church. There was always something that was residing in me that wanted to preserve me, I feel, and others, lots of other people. And we are looked at as the ones that are the so-called bad or evil ones because we have an alternative approach, or we might be delving in to go ahead and listen to the voice from within and go ahead and look at this in a different way. Okay. So I believe that these outwardly temples and these outwardly idols have been placed upon the people in order to distort or give them a false perception of what we are supposed to really be looking at. And I think that reading, anybody can be in church for however long and read the word at face value, but it really starts to resonate with you when you start going into some of these books that you choose not to focus on in these outwardly temples, and when you start to pick it apart piece by piece. Now, it is a very tedious thing to do, but at the end of the day, once you start taking this approach and opening yourself up to it, more things will start to come to you and reveal themselves. So I would like to say that I have been hardcore studying for the past 5 years or 6 years, and none of us is going to have all of the answers, but I've been looking into everything from ancient history. I've been in the word. I've been looking at the fact that the slave trade was fabricated, and that there were already heavily melanated people here, or so-called black people with curly hair. Some had straight, some had, so even on that plane, I'm not saying that anyone else was not here. What I'm saying is I don't like the fact that said so-called black people have been misled. And if everybody is from Africa, then why isn't everybody an African, European, African, whatever? I want to bring to the surface that that is not okay, and that we need to do a little bit of deeper research on the things that we've been told. Like, I had to start this off by looking at everything we think we know is has been told to us in reverse or is a lie. Okay, and there is a somewhat of a godverment, okay, and its minions and its different departments like NASA and stuff that have been trying to play God, and they have been using this to manipulate people over time into seeing even their version that fits with so-called religion and other ways of thinking. But uh so that we don't get too far into things, um a lot of people seem to think that the Bible is altered, and that the white man gave us the Bible and all this other stuff. First of all, I think that way of thinking of things is kind of silly, because even us that are doing research on this whole indigenous or this whole American history thing, um, the same books that we read to obtain all the information, even when you woke and even when you start taking an alternative approach, have been created and given to us by the so-called white man that you like to say. Do you see what I'm saying? How silly it sounds? So all the other books that you have and all the other resources that are on the physical realm um have been given to you by this same man or these same people that gave you the Bible. And for you to think that the people that run these large companies and create your textbooks, and the same people that print your Bibles, and the same people that, do you see what I'm saying? Print books from these pastors that create books, all from the same people. The printers. So a lot of these printing companies have been in business for a long time when the Bible started to be printed out. So, I mean, if you really think about it, this is why I like to go against the grain and look at the alternative approach and look at alternative writings. Okay? Because even when it comes to archaeology and all these other things and Egyptology, if it doesn't fit their narrative, they will not put it in mainstream uh rotation. We'll say that. Mainstream rotation is just mainstream everything. Mainstream media, mainstream everything, they're streaming your mind towards a certain direction when you're supposed to be looking within and looking at it in a different way. So let's just stop there. I'm just trying to give you a kind of way of where I'm coming from. And I believe that the Old Testament, okay, because I found several uh things that kind of I'm not gonna. I'm not here to indoctrinate you or try to change your beliefs. I am just here to plant seeds, and I'm just here to make people think. Okay, so I'm not a bad person. I'm not an evil person. I went through thinking that there was something wrong with me because I did not want to go to these places. And you know what? Whether religious people know it or not, they have a way of assisting in helping people feel a certain way because we're not seeing it in your mass manipulated way. Okay, so we are all individuals, and you know, even said Jesus said that the temple is within you. So and while I'm saying that, I'm just glossing over here, okay, at this part right here that just says the God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples made by human hands. Anybody can, or in the beginning, O Lord, you laid the foundation of earth, and the heavens are works of your hands. So, we can take all, we'll just go into that later. Okay. So, another thing I want to go ahead and say is if you think that the earth itself or the world is 4 point something million years old, like they say, or however millions of years or billions of years they say it is old, and the word is 2000 something years old or however years old. Okay. um but you think that somebody in the beginning of forming, because we're talking about in the beginning when it was being formed, so somebody had to be there, not in the beginning even. Okay, so if the earth is that old or the world is that old, what I'm trying to tell you is even if the Bible came later, somebody had to write about the beginning, which was not at the time when the Bible came about. Okay? So somebody would have had to been able to take some text or whatever they was using 4 billion years ago or a million years ago. Preserve that writing. Okay? And this is another thing, we like to bring things into reality and stop thinking of it as something that is not uh uh I don't know if tangible is the right word, but stop treating it like something that happened so long ago that you can't kind of like reel it in and bring it back into reality. Because like I tell you on my channel all the time, I don't subscribe to the fact that the Bible is as old as they say it is. I think it is a rarely new item. Okay. So, anyways, to think that somebody preserved some text or something from millions of years ago when the earth was said formed or been here, preserve that information and then waited until 2000 or 3000 years ago in order to put it in the Bible, and they were able to translate every single word exactly to get the whole story right, then this is not the channel for you. I'll just say that because I don't like to, I'm not one. And that's what religion I think does with people. It makes people want to put their version of truth or of seeing on people, rather the people want it or not. We just assume, and that's for all religions. We just assume, and that's not me. Okay, so I can't assume that you're all the way brainwashed just because you go to church. I'm not picking on people in that sense. What I'm saying is this is the journey that I am taking. And I want other people that feel like me to be comfortable. Just like when it comes to these other agendas that people want people to be comfortable with and drag them into it. But I'm not going to drag you in. This is something that is a choice way of looking at things. Okay. And I want to let people that may have been having this way and you struggling with the fact that you feel like you're the only one to have a form of an outlet and not somebody trying to drag you back into a way of thinking just because everybody else does it and everybody else thinks it. Okay. So, again, if Satan is here and he's ruling the world and he is going to fool everyone, you have to automatically, non-biasedly look and say, this might be yourself. So, okay. And there's not that much that has to be changed with the word. Your mind has already been taken from you. From birth, we have been indoctrinated and having stuff shoved and dragged off to these buildings and these different things that, hey, people think that you're supposed to be doing. So let's just go into this. I have my Holy Bible, which is a, um, hold on one second. Okay. I have here a Holy Bible. It says PTL Parallel Edition, King James Version, and the Living Bible. And it says large print concordance. And sorry. And it is one of my favorite Bibles at the moment. I know you see here the New Living Translation, but it still is not the same as this Living Bible. For some reason, I cannot find the Living Bible in order to pull it up on the screen so that you guys can be seeing what I'm saying, what I'm seeing. So I'm just reading from my personal Bible, and trust me, that's where I'm reading from. So let's go ahead and get into it. So there's no real structure to this. All this time I've been trying to get structured and come across a certain kind of way and get the things all charted down. And then I lost a lot of information on the computer and on my phone. And, it was just too much. So I just said, it made it so I was at a point in my life where I could not even function properly. And I felt like it was, um, I was just not able to just go about my natural life, my normal life. There was always something on me. I just felt like, goodness, I just felt like seeing this way and having anxiety about even coming to other people that have maybe been indoctrinated with it and withholding the information. And like, again, the same way you feel when you don't feel comfortable in church, or you don't subscribe to things the way that you start feeling like it's something wrong with you, or you're bad or evil or something because I don't fit in with um the sheeple, or I don't fit in and I'm not being led by these pastors. And like I like to think some of these pastors are going to lead you to greener pastures. And while you sitting there with this luxurious long grass eating away, there is a wolf in sheep's clothing encroaching on the people of all the nations. And this is what a person that wants to kind of steal your soul and have you locked into a certain mindset and way of thinking would set up a system, if this is what Satan would do, to make you think you're coming towards something, but the whole time you've been led into somewhat of a trap. And a lot of this stuff is a trap on the mind. People cannot see straight. People cannot, when you come in a different approach, you will feel like, and you come around so-called Christians and stuff, and you have a different approach, they are going to just feel naturally. And I think that people do this unknowingly, that their way is the way, and you need to listen to this, and you need to go back and look at it this way. And I'm not saying you need to do anything. You need to do whatever resonates with your soul. Whatever you feel like you're here, your journey is, and that you're here to do. And I am going to do the same. So, on that note, we're going to go ahead and read. I'm going to read from, I'm in Genesis 1, and we're going to go ahead and read um, from the King James Version, since it's a short one, and we're going to go ahead and read from the Living Bible as well. Okay, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and take notice that we're all at the first sentence. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So if you go down here, and this is why I like to use this Bible Hub, because it has several different ways or different versions of the Bible. And, like this one right here says, in the beginning, when God created the universe. Okay. In the beginning, God created the universe. Okay. And then heavens and earth, we go back, and then some of the times it's okay to use the more popular version, but sometimes I feel it's what resonates with me at that moment, to be honest with you. If I take the road that's less traveled. Okay, in the beginning of God's preparing the earths and have I mean the y'all. Okay, in the beginning of God's preparing the heavens. Heavens. See, this one says heaven. This one said heavens. And the earth. Okay. And you know, preparing. Okay. Now at face value, all of those things you say, okay, yeah, but okay, we all know what it's all meaning, but is it really? So these are ways that I'm just, go ahead and put it out there. So let's go ahead and see what is beginning. Okay. Okay. I just like to kind of do this a little bit and just look up. Um, okay. Choice. Okay. First fruits, harvest, nations. Okay. Okay. Again, uh, beginning, chiefest, first fruits, part. Okay. Place, time, order, rank. Okay. First Nations was the first of the nations. Amalek. First fruits, all these other things, again, fruits, and that's the problem with the English language. These words can mean so many different things at so many different times in so many different ways. Um, but we're just going ahead and looking through that. Now let's go back and see what heavens, okay? And that's what I'm saying, that this world that has been created around us doesn't give people time to even look into the word. So we think that we're doing our due diligence by picking up the book. And I'm not saying everyone. So don't just think that I'm talking about everyone. But picking up the Bible every so often, or just picking it up when you take it to church, coming back home, putting it away and never touching it again, or you're just reading it and you're not going deeper. These are things that this world that we live in, this rat race, okay, has created all these other things pulling us away from certain things. And one thing is yourself. Okay. And if God created me and I'm a piece of that God, then I should have something naturally existing in me, even if I didn't have these books. Because, like a lot of people like to say, the people in the Bible didn't have a Bible. So, you know what I'm saying? There has to be another way. And this is what I always even thought. Like, I think when I look at the Bible, I see it as a tool to do research. It is nothing more than that to me. It is just another tool, just like any other book to be used. Okay. So, um, again, so God created the heavens and the earth, um, the expanse heaven. There was evening and an expanse of the heavens to separate. Okay, let's see. Heaven, sky, because sometimes they use the word sky. Astrologers, compass, earth, heaven highest. Okay, the highest. It started making me think about the pyramid with the eyeball on the top. And then it starts going into hmm, nothing. The people that are on the bottom of the totem pole. Okay, heaven, sky. Um, I'm just trying to see if we see anything. Mm, before which fowl fly. Mm, okay. And the floodgates of the sky were open. And see things like this. Sorry, my stomach is growling. I should have ate something first. Um, of the birds of the sky. This remind me of mm, something that we was reading in Deuteronomy about the telling the people not to worship any kind of fowl of the air or anything like that. So anyways, so we're gonna keep on going, okay? Let's go back because I'm not going to put in stone what I feel like the heavens is, because there's a variation of things that I see when it comes to this word heavens, and just like there is a variation of the word earth. But I feel like earth is a little bit easier for me to um go ahead and look into, because it is what is it? It's just a little bit easier read, because this is one of the first things that kind of helped me start to see. So the definition, earth or land. And then when I started to look into the whole indigenous and autochthon of meanings and definitions, now this then drew me back over here to start looking at something in a different way. So all of those tools help me come to the conclusion of what I think I'm seeing here. And other people may have a variant conclusion, but I'm just wanting to show you guys the way that I'm seeing it. Okay. So the word origin, a prime, primitive, primordial, um, root, earth, land. Okay. Um, let's see. Okay. Construct, the earth, the whole earth, earth opposed to heaven. And then they have the sky, permanent foundations. Okay. Firm, so that its shaking is something terrible, token of terrible power, um, especially addressed when it calls to witnesses. And then we got here earth, inhabitants of earth. And then even I think whatever scripture it is about uh, taking something from the earth or the soil and adding the slime or what, there's different versions or ways to do it, and then creating a being in one of the creation stories in the book. And then that also made me say, wait a minute, what are we really talking about? you know so then I started to see that, okay, so if all these places, um let's see, district, region, tribal territory, piece of ground, uh, land of Israel, especially, okay, inhabitants, land. Um, yes.